everybody. Welcome to Leadogo Sharing Circle. I'm Matt Hawksley. I'm with Leadogo, and we're very, very fired up to have you here today. One of our sharing circles. So what is it about? So we've actually sourced a lot of great content that is going to help people. It's really going to do a lot of good. Leadogo, it actually stands for Leaders in Doing Good. And today I'm fired up. I got Jose Martinez, the trouble fixer here, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about high-performing team dynamics. Something that really is coming in the forefront today with a lot of the different remote activities and all the challenges that we've been facing over the past year. So he's going to give us a little bit of a presentation on some good tips and tricks. And then also at the end, we're going to open up to a lot of different Q&A and actually see if he can actually solve our problems, fix some of those troubles that we're facing. So without any further ado, I'm going to let Mr. Jose Martinez take over and tell us a little bit about high-performing team dynamics.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much for inviting me today.
The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. You know that Matt and I, we know each other since maybe 15 years. And when he proposed me the possibility to have this small introduction, I'm talking about teams, I was thrilled, and hopefully we can have a very, very interactive presentation. First of all, let me introduce myself. Who is this guy? You know, this little kid, which was 3 years old. This is me exactly 43 years ago. So today, I didn't come to talk about me. This is a little bit what I have done, what I have studied, and the different roles that I had. But the most important today is that we are going to talk about teams and what are the challenges that the teams are facing in their daily task. Let's put it in that way. First of all, I would like to talk about the agenda, and let me tell you a story that happened to me last weekend. I had a virtual drink with my school friends, as you know, because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, we cannot do much out of home. And I told them that I would do this presentation and I had to speak about teams. And I asked them for their advice. And I asked them, what can I explain? What can I say about what is a team and what are the keys to have a successful team? And one of them told me, Jose, maybe you can explain something about your career, or you can explain about a successful business case. And my other friend was like, yeah, but Jose needs to speak more than 1 minute. So basically, what I am going to do today, I'm going to speak about history. I'm going to speak about Gladiator movie. I will speak about basketball. I will tell you a history about wolves. I will mention Albert Einstein. I will explain what goals means. And I will speak about what is a team. So through all of these elements, my intention is to do a storytelling exercise to keep you engaged. So normally, I would love to have the opportunity to talk with all of you in a class or in a meeting room, because in this kind of presentations, the ones that knows me will tell you that I ask a lot of questions in order to keep the people engaged. So what I would appreciate is that when I ask questions, you chat the answer. So in this presentation will not be right or wrong answers. There will be only answers. And through your answers, I will drive you through my storytelling. Sounds this like a plan? I didn't see any answer yet. Sounds this like a plan? Okay, now I am starting to see some answers. Good. Thanks for that. So any of you recognize these pictures. First of all, I am a fanatic of the NBA. I am a fanatic of martial arts, and I am a fanatic of the NBA in the 80s and in the 90s when I was a teenager and there was early 90s and there was no internet. Any of you knows who are these teams? It's Los Angeles Lakers that won several championships in the 80s, Boston Celtics that won several championships. In the 80s also, they were the biggest rivals of Lakers, Chicago Bulls, probably the best team in the 90s and probably one of the best in the whole story, and the dream team of the Olympics. So these are the perfect examples of teams that were all winners. However, through this presentation, I will show you that there are many other different teams which are not superstars. And before I keep moving, I would like to recall that here, this is only my opinion according to my experience. It doesn't mean that I am right, and I am sure that there will be many others' point of view. At the end of the presentations, there will be also some chances to do questions, but in the meantime, please feel free to ask. Sounds like a plan? I am assuming that yes, it is. Let me open the chat because there are too many things at the same time. Good. So what is a team? If you go to a dictionary, you will read that is a number of people who act together as a group, either in a sport or in order to achieve something. So some of you will say, okay, this is theory. And I am fully agree with your point. To me, there is not any chance to have a team without a goal. What are your goals? What is the goal of the team? To me, that's the most important. What do I want to achieve? So a goal without a plan is just a wish. So we can set several goals. If there is not a plan for execution, forget about it. We have nothing. How do we reach the goal? So how would you do it? Many people that I know, they say, hope. Let's hope that we can do this. Let's hope that we can do that. Hope, in my view, is not a strategy. So I am working for an American firm called BDP International, and this is something that our higher management repeats a lot. Hope is not a strategy, and it cannot be a good strategy. Any of you are familiar with SMART goals? What does it mean? Let me check if there is any answer here. Okay. S means specific. M, measurable. A, attainable. R, relevant. To me, should be also realistic. And T, time bound. So first of all, when you are joining a team or when you are leading a team, you need to know exactly what do we want to achieve. Second question is, how will you measure it? So when the team will know that the goal has been achieved? Who has the control? Who is accountable for this? Is it realistic? So because many times, especially those ones that you are working in corporations and your corporations are pretty much focusing P&Ls, we have aggressive budget. Is something that is realistic? Yes or no? And then what is the deadline to execute it? In my opinion, there are two main drivers: execution in time and manner. So if you are late, means that the goal has not been achieved. What is the benefit of the teamwork? In my view, team working divides the work and multiplies the result. That's why this is so important. So in my whole career, I always consider myself a team player because in my experience, working surrounded a great team, I always were able to deliver result than when I tried to do it myself. Alice say that that's the dream. You are right, Alice. That would be a dream, but this is not always happening. Now I need you to check these two pictures. You know, on the right side, you have a picture of climbers that seems that they are climbing a mountain. And there is a leader ahead of the group, which is basically telling them the path. And on the left side, you have a pack of wolves with a different structure. The alpha wolf is the last in the group. The senior wolves that are pretty old are basically the ones that are establishing the pace. And then you have the other male wolves covering the females and the babies of the wolves. So in your view, how many of you consider that left picture is correct one from the team perspective? Any question? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And who says that is the right, the best one? Okay, science said left is not correct. In my opinion, both are correct. You know why? Because there is one common goal. That's the most important in the team. No matter how the structure is, the important is that everyone has a single and common goal, and everyone knows what their role is. Let me share because I see some questions here. Depends on the need, the situation, the team. Correct, Paul. I agree with you. Let me move forward with the presentation. Any of you has seen the movie Gladiator? Hold on. It's, if I remember well, it's from 2000. It's 20 years old. I am a real fanatic about Gladiator, and there is this gift where basically Massimo was in the circus in Rome, and they had no clue what would be the challenge and the danger they would face. And he made a statement, which is, whatever comes out, we've got a better chance of survival if we work together. And if the ones that saw the movie, I will not make any spoiler, they will know what the outcome of that movie was. This is fundamental. Work together. Now we are going to discuss about something which is very, very sensitive. Who consider that a team is a democracy when everybody has the same rights and obligations and everybody needs to do the same because of the team? And I would appreciate your interactions here. I would like to open a debate here. Okay. To me, a team is not a democracy. So there is always the need to have a leader, to have a captain, to have a coach. But this is not a democracy in terms that everybody has the same rights. And it is true that you have to follow the leader, but let me develop this a little bit more. In terms of obligation, everybody has the same of obligation according to their responsibility. And I will give you an explanation. For example, in case of there is a company that the economy is going down and is having tough results, and it is necessary to apply a temporary unemployment program, which is something that in Europe is quite normal. So in your view, it would be the right approach to say, okay, as we are a team, all the team at the same level, no matter the hierarchy, no matter the responsibility, no matter what is the productivity, they will be at the same level of temporary employment. Is that fair for you? Amalia say everyone should be able to give opinion and should be listened, although the final decision will come from the management team. I agree with you. So a few years ago, I read a book that it was written by one of the most important Spanish businessmen, and he made a statement, and I fully agree with him. I agree with him. It was like, there are entities that cannot be a democracy. The army, a company, and the Christian church, because there is a pope. Always, there must be a leader, and the leader should establish the policy and the goals. And then it is true that, in my opinion, there is a democracy in the sense that all of us have the same responsibilities and the same duties according with the expectation of the leader or according to the expectation of the company. Does it make sense? Good. To be honest, you don't know how tough it is to me. I am a person that loves to be in touch with people. I'm a social person. And to be in front of the camera without seeing your face, to me is quite complex, but I will do my best. After this, let me focus on the roles. What is the roles in the team? I need you again to answer this question. I need you to see these two pictures. Do you know who are those two individuals? Any answer? Hey, come on, you have internet, you can answer. Okay, now we are starting to, no clue? Who can be these two guys? People with a lot of money, saying I agree with you. A lot of money. Okay, good. They are McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Conor McGregor, correct. Paul, you got it. Yes. So they made $100 million in one fight, one single fight. So I don't make that every day when I come to the office. So, and now the most important, how do you describe these two individuals with only one word? Give me only one word. How do you call them? Don't say rich. We all know that. Opportunistic, almost. Goal, almost. In my view, they are, okay, there is one more answer. Proud. What about if we call them ego? They have big, big, big ego. So tenacity also, but I would call ego. So do you know what is the ego in a team? Please, guys, I need you to wake up. It's 7 o'clock in Madrid, so what is the ego in your view? Good. The ego is the enemy of the team. All of us, we want to be the brightest, the smartest, the ones who solve the problem. I mean, Matt called me trouble fixer, which is partially true, and I appreciate it. But I have to admit that I leave my ego behind when I come to the office. So all of us, we need to put our strength and our talent in order to support the team. Let me see some comments that I had here. Correct, at least people thinking like me. Correct. Fully agree with you. That's the biggest enemy of the team. Do you know this guy? You look at the picture. Maybe you are young and probably there will be a misunderstanding here. Who is this guy? Michael Jordan. Correct. Thank you very much, Abdul Razak. Appreciate it. Many of you will not know that Michael Jordan wanted to be a baseball player when he already was the best professional basketball player ever. You know that as a baseball player, he failed. So another lesson I learned about the roles is that you need to put the right people doing the right things. So if you ask someone from finance, which probably in finance is great, to be a salesman, it will fail by far. So when we analyze the team members, you need to know which capabilities each individual has in order to put the right person on the right position. So Paul say an amount of ego within a team is inevitable. Important to set the team rules of engagement. Absolutely agree with you. So coming back to Michael Jordan, Einstein say that everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live his whole life believing that he is stupid. So fundamental, at least is something that I apply in my life every day. I know which are my strengths, which are my weakness, and I take very good note of that. So if for whatever reason I have to do something that is not my specialty, I will put my 200%. But I am aware that I am doing something that this is not my best face. Let's put it in that way. Now I wanna show you these 4 pictures. I guess that most of you know who they are. If I can ask you, how would you describe these individuals with one single word, how would you describe it? Come on, I need you to answer. One word. Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Steve Jobs. Okay, I say commit. Leaders, correct. They are leaders. They are leaders. And what does being a leader mean? Does it mean that a leader is the strongest guy in the room or strongest lady in the room? I will explain you the definition of leader that my father explained me when I was 18 years old and I was leaving the high school and I was moving into the university, into the college. So just to give you a brief idea, I have been working with my father for almost 15 years. And my father, of course, it's my father. It has been my boss. It has been my mentor. And it has been my teacher. And still, he is still my teacher. And I go to him when I have a problem and I ask him for his support and for his idea. When I was 18 and my father asked me, okay, great, you are going to the university. What do you wanna be when you finish your career? And I say, I want to be the boss. I want to be a manager. I want to be a leader. And my father replied, okay, Jose, but you know, what does being a leader mean? And I say, yeah, the leader is the boss, right? And my father looked at me patiently and say, no, a leader is that person that when there is a very, very, very big problem, but a big one, the kind of problem that none have clue how to manage and how to fix it. Even the leader doesn't know how to fix it. However, he is convinced that this problem can be fixed. He has the capability to engage the whole team, even the ones that they consider that it's impossible. They put them on the same page. He aligned everyone to move forward in the same direction. And at the end, he or his team and him fix it. And when the problem is fixed, he will step back and will give the credit to his or her team. That's the definition that my father gave to me almost 30 years ago. And this is something that I have it in the top of my head every day. Any comment, any concern, any question, any recall that, my God, I'm talking too much today. Normally, if you were in the same meeting room than me, I would be looking into your eyes and I would be asking questions, and the one that is checking emails, I will ask him directly or ask her directly. So I'm assuming that everything is clear. Any question in the chat? Okay, good. I will move forward. I want you to see this slide. And now I will not move forward until I see the answer from the group. If you see this slide from the 0%, I will not. Until 100%, I need you to define this slide with one single word. So please, I want to read your answers. I give you 3 seconds. There is no good or right or wrong answer. And I promise that I will not mention names. One word. Will, at least almost. Come on, come on. There are some people in the crew, so one single word. Leaders, not really. Okay. Maybe decision, pessimist, not be a leader. To me, I would say attitude and something that is fundamental. If you are a manager, if you are a coach, if you are a director, if you have a group of people that you have to lead, attitude is not negotiable, period. So everyone must give their 100% best. That's the point. You can be right or wrong, no issues on that. We can make mistakes, it's human. I do it. I make several mistakes, not every day, but a couple of them a week. But my attitude, and some of the participants today, they work with me and they are working with me for several years. It is something that we cannot negotiate. Next, which to me is fundamental, motivation. Motivation depends on us, same as the attitude. Is most of the times we cannot control the job that we have to do. However, we can decide how we are going to approach to any job or to any project, and which is going to be our motivation. And again, I will tell you a story about my father. My very first job in the logistic business, and I am in the logistic and supply chain market since 25 years ago. I'm getting old, unfortunately. I had to clean a warehouse. That was a complete mess, and I have to clean it. And in theory, I had 4 weeks to do it. And of course, when you are young and you say, okay, I'm going to do a job, you want to be the general manager of General Motors, which is normally the case. So in my first job, I really wanted to make something important in the company because I had the education to do it and the knowledge. So I started cleaning warehouse and loading and unloading trucks. And the company gave me 4 weeks. And I came back to my home and I was a little bit disappointed. It's like that, you see, instead of start talking with customers, I have to clean the warehouse. And they gave me 4 weeks to do it. And my father was like, you do it the fastest and the best way you can. And I was like, that, but it's just put boxes in pallets and shrink wrap and that's it. Nobody cares. And my father said, no, Jose, you care. Because whatever you do, you always have to be and to provide your best. So instead of 4 weeks, it took me 2 weeks. I went to the office, I went to the warehouse, and I was loading and unloading boxes and putting pallets and taking the forklift. And people was like, Jose, why are you working in such tough way? Who cares? And I say, no, of course I care. And that was my motivation. Because maybe the job, it wasn't the most challenging in my career, but I made it. And I felt so proud because instead of 4 weeks, I did it in 2. And this motivation and this attitude, I have been applying it every single day during my whole professional career, no matter what kind of task I had to accomplish. Motivation is the driving force by which humans achieve their goals. If we go, this is, by the way, a definition I took from the dictionary. There is another one that I like much more, especially for those colleagues that or those participants that are joining today and are leading some teams. And this was provided by Eisenhower. Motivation is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it, which is a very diplomat way to ask people to do things, even if they don't like it, but they are under the impression that they have to do it. So actually, one of the biggest motivators I have met in my life is my wife. She's great. So, and at the end, she's motivating me to do things that in normal circumstances, I would never do it. However, when I approach to the task, I'm so happy and I feel that it was my decision. That's motivation. So I know that she's attending also. So Nines, maybe you can write something if you disagree, by the way. So now I want you to see these pictures. Any of you knows what represents those pictures? And I would please ask you to write something in the chat. Gladiators, good, some of them. Battle, correct. What else? Unity, I like that, and we will talk about that later. More, I need more teams, correct. They are teams. Again, I will explain you a little bit more. So the first picture is an Spartan phalanx that it used to be done by the Spartans, but after got the perfection in terms of army by the Macedonians, led by Philip II and Alexander the Great. The second picture, it was the testudo formation by the Roman legions. It's basically a turtle formation that they were protected, the whole army. And the third one, it's the Spanish Thirds, the Thirds of Flanders, that it was like the elite army for the Spanish Empire. These three pictures, they had something in common, is that all of these armies, they were extremely successful in their period. They had to fight, they were all conquerors, and they used to fight about biggest armies in terms of number. So just for your reference, the Spanish Thirds in number, they were no more than 12,000. These 12,000 soldiers, they almost conquered the world. And you know why these armies were so successful during this period? And I need a word. What they have special to have such a big strategy? Good, not really. One more thing, strategy was also, but in one word, what they had special to have this leadership, maybe, but not really. The most important, they have the technology. I saw one answer, purpose, correct, but in this case, it was technology. Their technology made them to compensate their lack of number in terms of soldiers against biggest armies. That's fundamental. So next one, I want you to see this 1%. And I want you to remember the pictures of the soldiers. So practice the philosophy of continuous improvement. Get a little bit better every single day. So this could be called the 1% theory. If today, as an individual or as part of the team, you focus all your effort to improve whatever you are doing, only 1%, in 2 years, the performance of this team would be exponential. It's fundamental that people get focused on the process and not on the outcome. Then the outcome will come. When you are part of the team, you really, really need why things are done. What is the purpose? And training one and another and another and another, that at the end, you know the process pretty well, and you can detect the gap in the process, and the outcomes will come. So this is called training and know-how. Remember, for a team, you have the technology, you have the know-how and the training, and then you have the commitment and the values that some of you were commenting this in the chat. Do you know who is this gentleman, this study? Any of you know who this guy is? That's a difficult question. I have to admit that I am a freak about history topics, so that's why. It's Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, it was probably one of the biggest generals and conquerors in the whole history. And he passed away pretty young. He passed away with 31, 33 years old. He said that, remember, upon the conduct of each depends the fate on all. So the success or the fail of the team depends on every single individual. The second picture, these are the Marines in the First World War. Do you know what is the motto or what is the slogan of the Marines? Any of you knows it? No is Semper Fidelis. Semper Fidelis means always faithful. The principle is, if you fail, I will be there to cover you. If I fail, I expect you to be here to cover me. And there will not be finger pointing. We are here for one common goal, and we will deliver it together. Still awake? Because I keep talking too much, please, I expect you to answer something in the chat. You have not to say anything, just say that you are still awake. I can see only 2 people awake. Come on, only 2? Okay, I expect more. No? Okay, another 2, great, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Awake, saying is awake. Okay, more people awake. Still, okay, if not, I'm leaving. Okay, guys, no. Very good. So let's move forward. What is the time? We are perfect. So now I will need to check this picture. You see this picture is weird. Probably some of you saw a front face and some of you saw a side face. Both are right. However, through this picture, I want to let you know and to recall the importance on how fundamental is communication in the team. 90% of the friction in a team is because of the lack of communication or bad understanding. The same applies for the mistakes. Lack of communication, bad understanding, or bad understanding. So I'm completely sure that if today I ask to this group to make a draw or to do a picture of a house or even of a home, if there are 20 participants, I will get 20 different style of houses. So we need to be very, very, very concrete on that. Instead say, if you can explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand yourself. So fundamental. Now I'm going to talk about frustrations. All of us have frustrations every day. And in this talk, unfortunately, I don't have any miracle advice to let you know that frustration will be gone. All of us living every day, and we need to deal with that. If you see this picture, it was taken in 1929 in New York with the Great Depression. And basically, they are kids which were orphans. Success has many parents, but failure is an orphan. And to me, this is also one of the issues and one of the main challenges we should deal when as a team we are not delivering. So it's not about Peter or John or Jose or Luca or whoever is the group. And we must be generous enough to recognize that even if you did your best, the team failed, and you don't need to find or to finger point anyone. I want you to see this picture again, and I will not talk about basketball anymore. You know who this guy is? That's tough. Stephen Curry, probably the best basketball player in the NBA. I want to show you some of his figures, and then I will give you the explanation. Average of 43.5% from three. Probably the best three-point shooter in the league and in the history. So he literally changed the game and is the most influential player in the past decade. However, if you see the figure, if he scores 43.5, means that he fails more than he scores. So he's a player that literally will live with the frustration every game. Any of you can imagine if you go to the office every day and you fail more than you do your job well, probably you would feel bad, right? Probably yes. This guy is able to fail more than he scored, and he keeps trying. So we sometimes the worst yet is ourselves, and we need to be generous enough to recognize that we are not perfect, that we can fail, that we will fail several times, but the important is to keep shooting. And again, I come back to the attitude, and I come back to the motivation slide. I want you to see this picture. If you see this picture in detail, you will see that there is a gentleman, a face, there is an old citizen, and there is a lady. If you see the picture in one shot, in 1 second, probably you would be missing the other two figures, the other two shapes. Again, we cannot lose the perspective as a group. You have a goal. Sometimes you need to step back, and you need to have the full overview and the clear scope to make decisions. If you make decisions based in a bad mood, based when you feel sad, or based in a mistake, that decision will wrong and will take the team to basically to fail. And then success. If you see these three pictures, I am fully convinced that, with the exception of Toronto Raptors, that maybe could be better known by the group, none will remember who these guys are. So this team is the Denmark national soccer team that they won the Euro Cup in 1992. And basically, they were not qualified for that championship. They arrived, or they were invited in the very last minute, because one of the team were excluded. All the team members were on vacations. And when they asked to participate and to join the national team to apply and to play in the Eurocup, everyone that was in their families, with their families, they went, they joined the championship, and they won it. Not even a top 20 best player in Europe, and they won it. The next picture, Leicester City, Premier League champion in 2016. They had the lowest budget in the whole Premier League, the lowest one, and they made it. And then Toronto Raptors. Toronto Raptors had to compete with the biggest team of the leagues. And by the way, there was one Spaniard there, so good team. And they won it. Success starts with saying yes. Saying no, just maintain it. That's it. So if you have a task to apply, do it and complain after. But for the time being, stay focused and say yes. There will be plenty of people that will tell you that something is not possible. In my opinion, the first or the most important is just to have the desire of doing it. So to making a quick recap, to me, the perfect team, it's a common goal, appropriate functions, attitude, commitment, and motivation, know-how and training, solid relationship, and excellent communication. With these three drivers, I am absolutely convinced that any team in the world, no matter what they are doing, they will be successful, no doubt. And as a wrap up, and after that we can start with the questions and answers. If I want to team up, I must learn to speak in plural. So for the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. This is the Jungle Book. I keep it always in the top of my head. Don't try to be the best in your team. Try to make your team the best. And the last one, I never lose. I either win or I learn. This was said by Mandela. Any questions? Matt, I talk too much, my God.
Never enough. Thank you, Jose. We do have a question here actually in the chat. So I have this team member who never agrees with the group. How do you think would be the best way to deal with such team members? So what kind of trouble could you fix there?
What do you mean?
So the question here is they got a team member that's never agreeing with the group. So they're always kind of dissenting. How do you think would be the best way to deal with those types of team members that don't always necessarily agree?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's human, you know, humans always brings conflicts. So my first question is how important the role of this person is. So if this person has a fundamental role in the team or not. Normally, what I do is that those persons that are very negative or bring negativity into the group, I always try to talk individually to set expectation. And at the same time, I talk with the other team members to let them know that there is a problem and that I will work on it. And then I will talk with all of them at the same time and explain them that there is a problem, there is a goal. If any of them doesn't feel comfortable with the goal, I am completely sure that there are many other teams happy to receive this person. But to me, again, communication is key. Align expectation is fundamental. And also to give the chance, because all of us, we make mistakes, and to give the chance the person that is bringing negativity into the group to change the attitude. And after that, if there is a reaction, fantastic. If there is not a reaction, in my opinion, the team is done by people. So if there are 5 team members, 4 of them are great and 1 is bad, at certain moment, the one which is not in alignment with the group will need to leave or will leave by him or herself.
So address that. Communication obviously is key, but kind of really root out the actual negativity by direct communication. So another question that we did have was with the new remote world, how has the definition of high performing teams evolved in your eyes? Obviously, it's a challenge for everybody. You're in Spain right now.
That's. Thank you. I mean, that's a great question. Let me first of all let me open the bracket here. Last year, I attended to an executive program in London Business School, which the content of the program it was leading business into the future. And attending to this program, I was sure that I would have the tips to run the business in the future, but no one was expecting COVID. So 3 months later, what I learned a year ago, it was not valid anymore. To me, the principles didn't change. So communication is the key. I speak with my team in daily basis, several times, and basically I encourage them to talk to each other. Without me, I don't need to be in all the conversations. But there is not a big difference in my view to talk to people with a camera. Of course, I prefer the eyes contact and the physical presence, right? Mm-hmm. But good people do good things. If the communication is clear, if the goal setting is clear, and the expectation and what is needed from each team member in time and manner is clear, the team will deliver. Just to give you a concrete action here. In my professional career, my role in BDP International, I am regional director for South Europe. And I am taking care of 3 of the countries that had the biggest impact in the COVID-19 pandemic. So the 3 countries basically are hitting budget, which it was completely unbelievable the last March. It was really, really a team effort. Whatever my company was asking to deliver, the team has delivered. Even more, there is a team member which is attending to this conference call. So Alice, thank you very much for joining. That she was an expat. She had to leave France and to move to Malaysia to do some specific project. And because of the COVID, she had to return to France. But her whole team is in Kuala. So the progress that we have made is simply amazing. So no one could tell that an expat that in theory should be living in Kuala is working for France. So at the end, it's a matter of expectations.
Great. Well, thank you, Jose. That's all the time we've got at this point in time. So thanks for everyone for joining our Leadogo sharing circle. You can catch Jose next time, the Trouble Fixer, on January 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And he's going to be talking about how you change your attitude, you can change your world. Thanks, everybody. We'll be coming at you again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, all. Stay safe. Bye-bye.